I accidentally became the landlord's worst nightmare, and I'm not even sorry. My landlord ignored repairs, harassed me, and tried to evict me unfairly. I documented everything, rallied neighbors, reported violations to the city, and helped force landlord out. Now I'm tenant advocate and proud to have made a difference. Hey Reddit, this one's gonna be long, so grab a snack. I never thought I'd write one of those landlord versus tenant stories, but here we are. This is a cautionary tale, a victory story, and honestly, a bit of a therapy session for me. So buckle up. About 2 years ago, I moved into a one-bedroom apartment in a neighborhood that was up and coming. Rent was reasonable, and the building was older but seemed well kept. I'm a quiet person, work from home, and keep my place super clean. I like peace and quiet, no drama. That's why, at first, the building seemed perfect. The landlord, Mr. H, was an older guy, probably in his 60s or 70s, who managed the building himself. You know the type, a little old school, serious about rules, very hands-on. He gave me the usual spiel about quiet hours, no overnight guests, and no modifications to the apartment without his permission. Fair enough. For the first few months, it was great. I paid my rent on time, kept the place spotless, and didn't bother anyone. I even helped a couple of neighbors carry groceries once or twice. Everyone was cordial, and I thought, hey, this could be a nice long-term spot. Winter came, and with it, the heater decided to quit working one freezing night. I called Mr. H immediately, and he promised the repairman would come within 24 hours. Cool. I thought 48 hours passed. No repairman. I called again. Mr. H said, he's busy, but he'll get to it soon. I wasn't thrilled, but I bought a couple of space heaters to keep warm. For almost 2 weeks, I was shivering in my apartment because the main heater was still broken. This wasn't just uncomfortable, it was dangerous. I emailed Mr. H every day, politely reminding him of the issue. His replies were dismissive, like I was being overly demanding. Other tenants were complaining too, but nobody wanted to cause a fuss. Finally, after nearly 2 weeks of freezing, the heater was fixed. But this was just the beginning. A week after the heater was repaired, the plumbing started acting up. Water pressure dropped to almost nothing, and the kitchen sink wouldn't drain properly. I reported it right away, hoping Mr. H would be quicker. This time, he wasn't. Weeks passed with slow or no response. I started noticing other weird things. Water stains appearing on the ceiling in the hallway, doors that stuck in their frames, strange odors in the basement. I mentioned these issues at the next tenant meeting. Yes, the building had regular tenant meetings, which Mr. H attended and somewhat controlled. But whenever problems came up, he downplayed or outright denied them. Meanwhile, Mr. H's attitude toward me changed. I suspect he got annoyed because I was one of the few tenants who kept bothering him about repairs and maintenance. He started accusing me of causing water damage, making too much noise, even claiming I was disrespectful when I answered his complaints firmly but politely. One time, he knocked on my door unannounced at 7 a.m. When I told him that wasn't acceptable, he said, I'm the landlord, I can do what I want. Yeah, no. Things escalated one afternoon when I was working on a big project for my job. Suddenly, there was furious pounding on my door. It was Mr. H, red-faced and yelling. He accused me of throwing a loud party the night before, disturbing the entire building. I told him, calmly, that I had been home all night working and that there was no party. He didn't believe me. He threatened eviction, citing disturbance of other tenants, which was ridiculous. I was honestly shocked. I'd been the perfect tenant, yet he was trying to kick me out over an accusation with zero evidence. At that point, I realized I wasn't dealing with a reasonable landlord anymore. Mr. H was trying to intimidate me, harass me, and make my life miserable so I'd move out. So I got serious. First, I started documenting everything. Every interaction, every text, every maintenance request. I saved it all. I took photos and videos of the apartment's condition, especially the plumbing issues and water stains. I researched tenant rights in my state and found local tenant advocacy groups. Then, I reached out to a few neighbors privately. Turns out, many of them had similar problems but were too scared to say anything because Mr. H was scary and had a reputation for being difficult. I suggested we band together and report the building's violations to the City Housing Authority. We submitted formal complaints about the broken heating, plumbing issues, and the building's general unsafe conditions. The housing department took it seriously and scheduled an inspection. When the inspectors arrived, Mr. H tried to downplay the problems, but the evidence was overwhelming. They found violations that required immediate repair, including unsafe wiring, mold from water leaks, and the lack of a functioning heating system during winter. The city issued citations and ordered Mr. H to fix everything immediately. This was a huge win. Mr. H didn't take this lying down. After the inspection, he ramped up his harassment. He knocked on my door at odd hours, sent me formal eviction notices claiming I was breaking lease terms, and left nasty notes in the lobby warning other tenants about me. He even started spreading rumors, telling neighbors I was difficult, constantly complaining, and disruptive. It was petty and childish, but he thought he could bully me into silence. Instead of backing down, I doubled down. I began organizing monthly tenant meetings, inviting as many residents as possible. We discussed problems openly, shared resources on tenant rights, and planned how to collectively demand better treatment and maintenance. I became a sort of spokesperson for the tenants, which felt strange but necessary. Other tenants started standing up too. Some were inspired to report their own issues. Others just felt safer knowing we were united. At one meeting, we discovered Mr. H had been illegally charging late fees without proper documentation, something the city fined him for once we reported it. Around this time, I started an anonymous blog detailing the landlord's mismanagement and tenant struggles. It got picked up by local tenant advocacy groups and quickly spread on social media. The attention put pressure on Mr. H. His reputation took a nosedive. The city increased inspections on his other properties too, revealing more violations. Under mounting pressure, Mr. H decided to sell the building. New management took over and promised to fix all outstanding issues and treat tenants with respect. That I'm still here, in my same apartment, now finally comfortable and safe. So, Reddit, here's what I learned from this whole ordeal. Know your rights. Educate yourself on tenant laws in your area. Document everything. Keep records of all communications and issues. Don't be afraid to speak up. One person can be silenced, but a group has power. Use city resources. Housing authorities exist for a reason. Persistence pays off. It's exhausting, but standing your ground can change your living situation and the lives of your neighbors. Looking back, I wish I'd known how important it was to connect with neighbors earlier. We were all suffering in silence, but together, we were unstoppable. Also, it's okay to ask for legal help. I got free advice from a tenant advocacy group, which saved me from costly mistakes. Mr. H's new career is a mystery. I heard from neighbors he moved out of property management completely, probably because of the fines and bad publicity. That I still get occasional messages from other tenants in similar situations asking for advice, which I'm happy to give. Honestly, this experience changed me. I went from a quiet, private person to a vocal advocate for tenants' rights. It wasn't easy, but it was worth it. If you're reading this and dealing with a nightmare landlord, you're not alone. And you don't have to take it. Thanks for sticking with me through this story. I hope it helps someone out there.